Seniors, I am begging you to stop these 5 exercises that are slowly damaging your heart. If you are over 60, there is a truth no one dares to tell you directly. Your body no longer recovers the way it used to, and your heart, though still beating, cannot endure the same way it did when you were 30. Yet every day, I still see older adults like you carrying the hope of living healthily, walking into the clinic with irregular heartbeats, skyrocketing blood pressure, and fatigue they believe is just a normal part of aging. But it's not. It's not because of age. It's not because of illness. It's because of the exercises you are still doing. Exercises you think are good, but that are secretly wearing your heart down, little by little. You have always believed that exercise is good, haven't you? But what if doing the wrong kind of exercise is exactly the reason your heart is straining to cope every single day? And the scariest part is, most people don't realize it until it's too late. In this video, I am not just warning you, I am pleading with you to stop 5 specific exercises that may be silently weakening your heart. Are you ready to listen before your body screams out in pain?
1. HIIT, when sweating does not mean living longer. You have probably been told that high-intensity workouts are the best way to burn fat, extend your lifespan, and keep your heart strong. And you believed it. You saw other people sweating and wanted to keep up. But if you are past 60, your heart no longer responds to HIIT like a young heart does. Instead of building health, it may be pushed to a dangerous limit, and it won't make a sound until it's too late. I have seen many patients walk into the clinic with the belief that they are living a healthy lifestyle. They exercised regularly, doing HIIT sessions a few times a week, jumping, running, pausing, then accelerating again. But when we checked their EKGs, blood pressure, and recovery indexes, everything told a different story. Their heart rhythms were unstable. Their recovery was slow. Some even showed signs of arrhythmia they had never noticed, and they were shocked. Because they didn't feel pain, did they? They just felt a little dizzy, a little tired, or had trouble sleeping, and assumed it was just aging. No, it wasn't. That was their heart crying out for help. In a 6-month study, older adults over 60 who practiced HIIT were able to improve their VO2 peak, a result that sounds positive, but only under strict supervision. When done alone at home or by following the wrong online videos, your heart is subjected to sudden surges of pressure in a short span of time. Your blood vessels, already stiffened with age, lose their elasticity, and your heart, rather than being strengthened, is forced to fight, not to collapse. Have you ever felt dizzy after a heavy workout, your heart still pounding even after you stopped moving? Did you think that was a sign of burning calories well? Or was it the silent warning you've been ignoring? The problem does not lie in whether you exercise, but in how you exercise. HIIT is not bad, but it is no longer suitable for an aging heart. Instead of risking sudden cardiovascular shocks, why not choose gentle walking, Tai Chi, or simply slow, controlled breathing? You exercise to live healthily, don't you? Then if the very workout is pushing you closer to the risk of hospitalization, is it really worth continuing? But hold on. Don't stop just yet, because what I'm about to share next is even more dangerous. A type of exercise where a single wrong move can cause your blood pressure to spike instantly. Can you guess what that is?
2. Sit-ups and weightlifting. Strong muscles, but a weak heart. I once met a 68-year-old gentleman, sturdy build, broad shoulders, who walked into the clinic with confidence. He said, "I still lift weights and do sit-ups every day to maintain my strength." But after a simple test, measuring blood pressure under exertion, the numbers shot up to 210. He froze. He didn't feel chest pain, dizziness, or shortness of breath. yet his heart was saying, "I am under extreme pressure." Older adults often believe that building muscle will help them stay strong, balanced, and independent, and that's true to some extent. But they forget that the aging body no longer reacts the same way it did at 30, especially the heart. When you perform a straining sit-up or lift a heavy dumbbell, the pressure inside the abdominal and chest cavities suddenly spikes. This is called intra-abdominal pressure, and it pushes directly against your heart. According to a study published on ResearchGate, just one episode of lifting weights combined with the Valsalva maneuver, holding your breath while straining, can cause blood pressure to rise to 300 millimeters of mercury, a level high enough to damage the heart if repeated often. For younger people, the body can tolerate it, but after 60, blood vessels stiffen, the heart wall weakens, and just one such squeeze could be the last straw. Do you remember the last time you felt a little dizzy while exercising? Or when your heart raced unusually fast after forcing yourself to lift something heavy? Don't ignore those signals. They are not from aging. They are your body resisting the way you are treating it. So what should you do? Change the tools, not the habit. Use resistance bands instead of heavy weights. Choose slow, controlled movements instead of endless sit-ups. And if possible, exercise with a trainer who understands the limits of an older heart. The important question is not how strong you still are, but how you are maintaining that strength. But if you think the pressure from lifting weights is the most dangerous threat, wait until the next part, when even your surrounding environment could become the silent enemy of your heart.
3. Exercising in extreme weather, when the environment becomes the enemy. I will never forget one winter morning last year when a man in his 70s, who had always kept up his routine of daily walks, was brought into the clinic by his neighbor in a state of dizziness, rapid heartbeat, and near fainting. He did not have any major illness. It was simply that the weather that day was too cold. And yet, he had followed his usual habit, waking up early, putting on a thin jacket, and heading outside to walk, firmly believing that regular exercise is always good. We often think that the exercise itself is the main factor affecting heart health, but for older adults, the when and where of exercising are just as important. After 60, the body gradually loses its ability to regulate temperature. In cold weather, blood vessels constrict to conserve warmth, which means blood pressure rises. In hot weather, the body must work twice as hard to release heat. Your heart beats faster, you sweat more, and dehydration sets in more quickly. Have you ever noticed your heart racing unusually fast after walking under the blazing sun, or felt completely drained after just a few minutes outside in the cold wind without knowing why? Don't ignore it. A recent study published in Nature 2025 revealed that extreme heat waves or cold spells significantly increase the risk of hospitalization due to heart problems in people over 65. And the effect is especially severe in those over 75. Your heart doesn't need to run a marathon to be under stress. All it takes is being exposed to the wrong weather at the wrong time, and it is already straining against invisible forces you cannot see. The heartbreaking truth is, many people still believe they are doing the right thing until their body collapses. So what is the solution? Choose safe conditions, mild spring mornings, or indoor spaces with stable temperature. Always check the weather forecast, stay hydrated, and if you feel even slightly unwell, step back. Your heart needs protection, not proof. But if you think only the environment around you can cause harm, then get ready for the next part, when the very movements you perform, jumping, twisting, changing directions, become the most dangerous triggers that throw your heart and body out of control.
4.
Jumping and quick direction changes, when speed makes the heart stumble. Mrs. Mary, 67, came to my clinic with a large bruise on her hip and a worried question. "I was just doing a few jumping jacks from a YouTube video. Why did I fall?" She was active, healthy, with no significant underlying conditions. But in just a few seconds, a sudden jump, a quick change of direction, and everything turned upside down. Many people after 60 still believe that the faster, the better. They join aerobics classes, follow young instructors, trying to keep the feeling of being still strong. But the truth is, as you age, your nervous system reacts more slowly, your balance declines little by little, and your blood vessels lose elasticity. Movements like jumping, sudden turns, quick takeoffs and landings seem simple, yet they create a storm inside the body, forcing the heart to adjust rapidly, blood pressure to fluctuate constantly, and the brain to respond at lightning speed just to keep you upright. Have you ever felt lightheaded after turning around quickly? Or had your heart racing irregularly as you tried to keep up with a fast-paced routine? Those symptoms are not simply because of age. They are signals from your body saying, "Slow down." Although there aren't specific studies for each jumping move, CDC statistics show that falls are the leading cause of injury and death in people over 65. And many of those incidents start from seemingly harmless exercises. One wrong step, one moment off balance, and you don't just lose your footing, you could lose confidence, independence, and even long-term heart health. What you need is not speed, but control. Not trying to keep up with the young, but choosing ways of moving that let you stay healthy without fearing a fall. Practicing Tai Chi, walking on flat ground, slow stretching. These may not look glamorous on screen, but they are sustainable and safe for your heart. Are you ready to trade speed for peace of mind? Because even if you've chosen slower, gentler exercises, there's still one mistake many people make, not in how they move, but in when they move. And the wrong timing can disrupt the heart's deepest recovery.
5. Exercising late at night, when good intentions disrupt your biological rhythm. A woman named Ruth, 72, once told me, "I just try to walk after dinner when the house is quiet, but lately I can't sleep, my heart races, and I toss and turn all night." She didn't eat a heavy dinner, didn't drink coffee, and wasn't under stress. But there was one thing she didn't notice. Her habit of exercising late was preventing her body from entering deep sleep. After 60, our biological rhythm becomes as fragile as paper. The body can no longer shift easily from alertness to rest. And everything we do, even something as simple as light exercise in the evening, can send the wrong signals to the nervous system. When you move, your body releases adrenaline, your heart beats faster, your temperature rises, and your brain thinks it's time to stay awake. But at that very moment, you're actually preparing for sleep. And so the heart's recovery cycle is thrown off balance. A study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that adults over 65 who exercise within 2 hours of bedtime risk a reduction in deep sleep quality of up to 28%. Deep sleep, the stage where the heart relaxes, blood vessels dilate, and pressure drops, gets shortened. And if this continues week after week, month after month, you don't just sleep poorly, you also raise your risk of high blood pressure, vascular inflammation, and arrhythmias. Have you ever tossed and turned in bed despite being exhausted, or woken up in the middle of the night with your heart pounding? Don't be too quick to call it just insomnia from aging. It could be that your heart hasn't had time to slow down after that 8 p.m. workout. So what's the solution? Prioritize exercising in the morning or early afternoon when the body can handle activity without disrupting its internal clock. Evenings should be a time to slow down, breathe deeply and allow the heart and brain to ease into their natural state of recovery. Sometimes, the best way to protect your health is to stop at the right moment. But even if you have chosen the right time, the right exercise, and the right environment, there is still one final thing. A message I want to leave you with, not as a doctor, but as someone who has witnessed far too many tragedies that could have been prevented if only people had listened to their hearts a little earlier.
A message from the heart, the power of awareness. If you have watched until now, it's likely that you don't just want to live long, you want to live right. Not through pressure, struggle, or chasing standards set by others, but through wisdom, the kind that comes from years of living, from understanding that true strength doesn't come from muscles, but from a heart that is heard. I don't share these stories to frighten you. I share them because I have witnessed too many people, talented, resilient, admirable, lose their health simply because they were too kind to others, yet too harsh with themselves. They thought, I must push harder. They refused to stop until their own body forced them to. Your heart, the organ that has been beating non-stop since the moment you first came into being, needs your attention. Not because it is weak, but because it has been loyal for so long. And at some point, it deserves to be protected by your kindness and your awareness. You don't need to be like you were at 30. You don't need to chase the image of being old but still vigorous if it makes you uneasy. You only need to understand where your body is right now and choose the steps that are right for this stage of life. That is not surrender. That is wisdom. That is loving yourself deeply. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a number 1 in the comments so I know you're still listening. If you have something to share, a habit you will change, a lesson you've realized, I would truly love to read it. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to keep receiving these gentle yet profound reflections. Because after all, nothing is more precious than a peaceful heart and an old age lived exactly the way you wish.